Hello and welcome, GKA vlog viewers, to my first vlog post of conversations with friends. First of all, I'd like to welcome and thank my best friend Micki who has volunteered to graciously let me interview her for this first vlog post. And the theme of today is inspiration, reflection, and adventure. And now on to our third part, adventure. But I remember in Cambodia, we both picked out different areas. We were traveling across the country. We were the first female dirt bikers to go from Phnom Penh to Angkor Wat. We picked out the beach area. And I think I picked out a nice rural cabin up north on the Mekong River to get the beautiful sunsets and the beautiful scenery. But rural Cambodia is not actually, rural Oregon or North Carolina. So, would you like to share your thoughts on the rural cabin or delve into any other adventure?
And then we get to the rural cabin overlooking the Mekong River, and there's no electricity past 8 o'clock. And you're in these cabins, and it's great, but I have an adversity to reptiles and frogs and lizards and snakes. I'm tough and I do a lot of tough girl things, but I do not like frogs especially. So we get into this cabin. I have my own place. It's beautiful. It's cheap, and there's the wood, beautiful everywhere, and sheets, but there's no electricity, and there's animals coming in and out at will. And anyways, that night I had my period, and it was no electricity, and I have to go to the bathroom at 3 in the morning to do my business. I turn on my cell phone flashlight, and I see slime trails all over the cabin floor on wood. It shows up really well that there's salamanders going here, there's slugs here, some kind of frogs over here. There was slime trails literally everywhere along the floor of my room. So I knew that those things were sliding all over the room all night long. I go into the bathroom to do my thing and lift up the toilet, and there's 5 frogs in the toilet, in the corner of the bathroom, the shower. There's frogs jumping off the walls all over me, and I was like, I don't like frogs. I just don't like them because you don't know where they're going to jump. They're going to jump here on your face or over there. You don't know. They don't have a brain. It's just jump in a logical place away from me and I'll be happy, but they don't. And then that morning I woke up, and this isn't adventurous. This is like me being a wimp. I wake up and I look in the corner of the room, and there literally is a salamander that's 2 feet long, just stick to the wall looking at me. That big. I was like, what the hell? What kind of friggin' salamanders are that big? Anyways, I wasn't too pleased with that place. It probably didn't help that I had my period, but we got through it, and we went kayaking or kayaking up the Mekong River the next day, and it was gorgeous, and we carried on with our Cambodia adventure. Yes, so there's been many other adventures. I would say the most adventurous one was when I was in my early 20s, and I went to Mexico after I'd learned Spanish. I was fluent in Spanish. And I thought, I can just travel around Mexico, hitchhiking and doing all these things with my girlfriend. And we took these 3rd-class buses and stayed in hostels that were just horrible. We were getting ripped off by the police and just brutal. It was so unsafe. I couldn't even believe that I did that. But I remember chasing a bus that we had missed. And we chased a bus, physically running through a bus through Zihuatanejo or something. I hailed a taxi in this little old Volkswagen Bug, and I'm like, go get it, I don't care, this is our bus to Acapulco or something, go, and he's flying over these speed bumps in this Volkswagen Bug, and flying down the road, and I was like, shit, the cost of this taxi is going to be 10 times my bus ticket. What are we doing? This is crazy. And we finally catch up to this bus, and it was a total adventure, out of a movie. I'm like, what's going on? And the taxi driver just leaned over to me. He's like, all I want is un beso from you. I was like, oh, okay. A kiss. I can do that. I just give you a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, thanks. And we got on our bus to Acapulco, and everyone on the bus thought we were totally insane, and that, I mean, that was pretty, like, adrenaline. That was like, wow, what are we doing? This is crazy. But yes, the Cambodia trip was by far, I would say, the most unrelaxing vacation I've ever been on.
Yeah.
It was awesome,
there.
but it was very, like, challenging.
You did. Okay, so moving to the second section, reflection. We were walking around the golf course the other day and just chatting, and then somehow marriage came up. But in this case, what do you turn back and reflect on with your marriage, and from maybe your expectations early on, being young, and what you thought about marriage, versus now, some years into it, and your two beautiful kids, and partnership?
Actually, kind of two completely sort of different thoughts. I was never a woman or a girl when I was younger that it was a goal to get married. I really felt like it was stupid for women to grow up and think, oh, I need to get married. I need to, that's one of my main goals. Like, just go find a man, get married, and have a big giant wedding, a big white dress, and then everything is going to be hunky-dory the next day. I always thought, well, how is that going to change you? How is that going to change your life at all? I mean, you're going to be in a good relationship with someone, and then how does that change anything? To me, it would made you, financially and legally tied to someone, which to me, back in the day, was your loss of freedom. And because I was, traveling all over the world and doing so many things with my career, the loss of my freedom was terrifying. So, fast forward, and I meet Dave. And really, it hasn't changed that much. It is a partnership. It's what we've created together, which is my family. It's not about the marriage. It's not about the day. It's not about the wedding. In fact, when I did get married, I was 3 months pregnant, and I was puking the entire day. So it was not a great day. It was for me.
You look beautiful, though.
Oh, I was skinny. And so, it's about what is after the marriage, what it represents, the partnership, the bond, what we create with our girls and our family, and the commitment to each other. I think that's more what it's about in marriage.
And I've noticed some differences. So as partnership and asking for help, you were mentioning your first daughter, Riley, that was emergency C-section after I don't even know how many hours or days of attempted labor. That you got up and tried to breastfeed her all yourself with shooing Dave away for support. Now, after the second child and a couple more years, you find that you're leading into the partnership for help?
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, for example, I've been very independent. I really never had a long-term, relationship more than 4 or 5 years, and leaning on someone. I've been very independent, and I like doing everything for myself, because if the only one that that screws up, it's me, and then it's on me and no one else. So I always love doing things on my own. Having Riley, having the emergency C-section, and then I was like, oh, Dave, I don't need you. I'll just breastfeed the day I get back from the hospital, and just lifting myself up out of the bed, I was like tearing all of the wounds that were trying to heal from the C-section, and ripping a lot of abdominal muscles or whatever was going on there. And after the second surgery, the doctor spent a lot of time repairing the damage and the scars that were there. There was a lot of scar tissue. And so then I was like, ooh, this is, I need to just calm down. I need to ask Dave to lift me up out of the bed so I can breastfeed without, just simple things like that. I just wanted to do everything by myself. And I'm still, very independent, and Dave and I are quite different, so we still can manage our own things. Mm-hmm. But yes, I definitely, lean on him a lot more especially with childcare. I mean, Dave's great with that too. So.
Starting with inspiration, Micki, you've always been inspiring to me. From the first time in our early 20s, me a couple of years into California, having no idea what I'm doing with my life, meeting you and Barb at a party, and you had career goals and a path, and you were dead set and determined, and like 3/4 of the way there already. Very inspiring. To your purchasing of houses, to now your new goals as a mother. So we'll get to the question, what inspires you to keep going after your dreams?
What inspires me really to pursue my goals and ambitions. I think early on, it started actually when I was really quite young, growing up in the cusp. I just knew I had to do a lot of different things or go do something because I needed to get out of the town and go achieve and try to create my pathway for myself. My mom and dad were staying in the cusp, and my other dad and mom was in Los Angeles. And I really didn't have kind of guidance or help because they were going to be in their places, and I had to pave my own way. And I think what really inspired me, honestly, was the hardships I had in Spain when I was an exchange student at 16. I went into a kind of a horrible family, and they were pretty abusive, and they broke my nose, and like a lot of things happened, and I was only 16 or 15 or 16, and I had to stay there for the year. And I realized when I got back from that trip, I had to have surgeries when I got back from trip to fix my nose, that even at a young age, if I could stick to myself and go for it, I could achieve a lot of things, and I could, I was able to handle that year, and I stayed with the family. I made the best of it, and I came back, and I grew so much from that year, and that was early on. And then from that point forward, I thought, if I can get through that, living in another country, barely speaking the language, being kind of an abusive family, I could kind of get anything really I wanted to be, achieved, done. So then it was just like a matter of one goal after another. Yes, I achieved that. I did pretty good at it. And then the next one. And then it was like, well, if I put anything on my mind to it, I pretty much am getting it done, and it's pretty awesome. So it was kind of going from there. And I just never actually really ever self-doubted myself. So I guess I have to thank my mom and dad for that, and my friends and family, and just a really good childhood gave me the roots to have a lot of self-confidence to even be that way and start that way early on, because it just built from that, like, for my whole life. And now I'm 45. I just turned 45 a few days ago, and I feel the same I did when I was 18. So
very cool, very cool. Okay, throwing one more in. We
Okay.
didn't talk about ahead of time. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? That's a really tough one. Well, you know what? Kind of when you're most proud of something, it kind of is related to how much love you feel for something. So honestly, the most love that I've ever felt for anything in my whole life is my family and my girls that I have now. So I'm not saying I'm lucky that I was able to have this and meet Dave and have the family that I have right now. And a lot of people, they focus on their career, they end up being 40 and it doesn't happen for them, and they're 45, 50 and they have a house full of cats, and I was going down that direction. And then suddenly fate and luck and just change of focus, I made that happen and met a fantastic man and have 2 little girls now, and I'm most proud of that because the amount of love I feel for my family is incredible.
Cool.